Can you even imagine being a member of the liberal corporate media? I mean, for years, they've run stories about Kamala Harris, word salads about school buses and Venn diagrams. They run stories about her in charge of the border. They ran a lot of stories about that. They've even run stories about her being the least popular vice president in all of American history. And now they have the task of wiping all that out of the record. And they have to use Soviet-style propaganda campaigns and basically do witchcraft in order to make it happen. They got to rebrand and rebuild the party's last and only hope. They literally need to defend anything and everything Kamala. And then she made it worse. Then she added Tim Walz, man. Kamala Harris must think the media is magic. But unfortunately for her, and unfortunately for Tim Walz especially, there's only so much magic you can do, man. When a nickname is as perfect as Tampon Tim, there's no getting out of the way of that, man.
Was one of the more potent points, or I know will be one of the major plot lines in all of this.
Tampon Tim?
Tampon Tim. Yes, I would like to talk about it.
Good.
You know what? If you knew anything about the pink tax or how difficult it is for women when they have their period and they don't have access to tampons.
It's not about women. They can get as
it.
many tampons as they want.
That's not
Give them free tampons. It's the boys.
I want to hear this.
The point of having menstrual products available in a boy's bathroom is for 4th to 12th graders, I think, that if there is someone who identifies, if there is a biological female who identifies as a male and uses that, your laughing will be the undoing of your side.
You're encouraging empathy, which we all admire, go into an irrational world.
You don't admire it. I need to say something about the National Guard.
No one is using the boys' bathroom that's menstruating, Jessica.
This is why the nickname is so perfect. A, it absolutely drives the left completely insane. Anything that drives the left insane is awesome. And B, they cannot possibly in a million years defend it. We hope they do. We hope they try to defend it, because when they do, they have to have the conversation and they end up sounding exactly like Jessica Tarlov. And guys, keep in mind, she's one of the smart ones. Jessica Tarlov, believe it or not, is one of the smart ones. And she says that it actually makes sense for the state of Minnesota to spend hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars to outfit and stock boys' bathrooms with feminine hygiene products, just in case there's a girl who identifies as a boy going in there. When in reality, there's no planet that you should allow that poor kid to go into that situation. It's just, above all other things, it's just not a safe situation. But that's not even the point. They're trying to rebrand this wacky guy as some sort of like football coaching war hero, moderate Midwestern Democrat, when in reality, he's the super woke guy that put tampons in boys' bathrooms. And there is no defending it. I mean, it's a losing proposition. And the problem they're going to have is they already have so much to defend the guy against.
If I may, the campaign trail. Today, Senator J.D. Vance has accused Governor Walz of stolen valor. Obviously, military service is something that's very deeply personal to the president, given the service of his son. I'm curious, how is he reacting to these statements?
So look, any specific attacks or comments, I would have to refer you to the campaign. I think when I was answering your colleague Joey's question about Governor Walz, I laid out, and you all have seen his bio, right? This is someone who enlisted at 17 years old to serve his country. He was part of the Army National Guard for 24 years. This is someone who was a high school teacher, right? A high school coach as well, who grew up in a small town in the Midwest. And so I think his bio speaks for itself. Who he is speaks for himself. His record speaks for itself. And I'm just not going to say anything beyond that.
I couldn't agree more. His actual record, absolutely, without a doubt, does speak for itself. But remember, Soviet-style propaganda is what our corporate media actually is. So they don't let his record speak for itself. Yes, he served. Yes, he was a football coach. And yes, he's a Midwesterner. He also signed an executive order that made it very, very difficult to protect your own child from the state of Minnesota. And he also let his cities burn. Don't forget, he let his cities burn. Then he had the snitch line to rat out your neighbors during COVID, while he allowed the largest COVID scam in the country to happen right under his nose. All of these things are important. This is his record, but the propagandists, they only want to talk about who they want you to believe he is. You know, when anyone looks objectively at any of this, all they want to know is how he would govern or has governed, right? And thankfully, there are people willing to do the right thing and fight the machine, but just watch the machine try to fight back.
So there's that window of opportunity, and people say we never knew he was going forward. Yeah, he knew he was going forward. Had he gotten his orders yet? No, at that time he had not. As far as being a command sergeant major, he, as soon as he retired, or I'm going to go with the term retired, which he did, and he was eligible after 20 years to get a full retirement. He was taken out of the academy at that time. Here's another thing about.
Well, Sergeant Major, I do want to hear that. I do want to hear what you have to say, Sergeant Major. I know I want to be sensitive of your time, and your audio is beginning to break up just a little bit. But I do want to thank you because I think you've clarified a lot for people and given more information. The question now is how the voters will evaluate it. Sergeant Major Doug Julian, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
I should note our show has reached out to the Harris-Walz campaign for comment and have not heard back.
I'm not sure how much preparation they actually did for that guest. This guy was Tim Walz's actual command sergeant major, a real command sergeant major at the time that he retired. I think they thought he was coming on to tell a more propaganda-friendly version, but the guy's honorable, and he actually showed up to tell the truth. And she couldn't end this interview fast enough. She's like, "Oh, Command Sergeant Major," she says, "you know, I really do respect your time, and I really want to hear what you have to say, so I'm going to have to let you go." That doesn't even make any sense. But this is who they are, and this is what they do. And it's crazy, man. You know, their duty to destroy the minds of Americans has gotten so difficult and untenable that they can't even hide it anymore. You know, Grabian just put together an amazing clip, man. Take a look at the difference between coverage about Tim Walz and J.D. Vance, two very, very Midwestern vice presidential candidates.
Midwestern dad, like super clean cut vibe.
Everybody likes
right?
Tim Walz.
So plain spoken and relatable. As moderate and independent as it comes.
Pretty moderate Democrat.
I always knew him as a moderate. One of the most moderate.
Very moderate record.
A new moderate.
I think this is the new moderate.
Far from progressive.
It's right down the middle.
And J.D. Vance is weird, extreme, and angry.
Utter humorlessness, the humorlessness and pompousness.
It's hard to believe that J.D. Vance could be any more extreme.
It's like a freak show of bros.
They have J.D. Vance, dark and ugly beneath the dignity of most politicians.
J.V. Vance.
J.D. is at the far extreme.
The most extreme.
Being one of the most extreme.
We need to recognize the danger.
These people are completely insane, man. And as I watch this stuff, you know, you have to wonder, you know, how many of these actors pretending to be journalists, how many of them actually believe this stuff, and how many are just in on the grift? You know, there's no way that there's that many just purely paid propaganda shills. Some of these people, they have to believe this stuff, right? But I don't know. And that's not even important. What they believe is not important. They've all got to be made irrelevant, man, regardless of if they believe their own gas or not. I mean, the truth is, these people have got to be stopped. You know, we can fight it out in elections all we want, but as long as we have a media with this kind of power and this kind of character and with these kinds of bad motivations, then no matter who wins, we're doomed, man. We're just absolutely doomed. We have got to destroy this machine, which is why we need to share these videos, guys. But that's just my take, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, you know, make sure to be a part of our growth. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.